This new RC is the car that Lexus hopes will attract younger buyers to the brand. As such, not only does it look good, but it also has a useful USP up its sleeve too. And so, where rivals in the sector such as the BMW 4 Series and Audi A5 rely on diesel power to tempt fleet buyers, the RC is available as a petrol-electric hybrid. This cuts in two ways. First of all, if you're a company car driver and you like hybrids, you now have the option of a sexy coupe. Or if your heart is set on a sexy coupe, you can now enjoy the benefit-in-kind savings that a hybrid offers. You also get a decent sized boot and split folding rear seats for those longer loads. These big wide opening doors are a little awkward when it comes to tight parking spaces. However, one advantage is that it's a little bit easier to get into the rear seats, which are big enough to fit two adults comfortably side by side, even if they're taller than my 5'4½". The RC's dash is beautifully constructed, although we'd prefer a couple more storage areas to keep phones and bananas. The driving position is also excellent, with plenty of adjustment in the steering wheel, and all models come with electrically adjustable and heated seats. The dials though, they're almost information overload. Plus, despite all models coming with sat-nav, the controller is a little bit fiddly to use even at a standstill. The RC is available with a 2-litre turbocharged petrol engine and 8-speed automatic gearbox, but we think it's this hybrid model that will make up the majority of the sales, thanks to the tax advantages that you get from combining a 2.5-litre 4-cylinder petrol engine with an electric motor and CVT automatic gearbox. With an 8.6 second 0 to 60 time, it gives away a second to the 2-litre turbo model, as well as costing £1,000 more on a spec-for-spec basis. Prices start from £35,000. The hybrid is definitely the one to have, both from the way it delivers its performance and the low running costs. And in terms of what it's like to drive, think of Grand Tourer rather than sports car, because it really focuses on refinement and comfort over outright driving thrills. And it's particularly impressive around town because it's smooth and quiet, which is much more relaxing than a diesel. It's also where the RC 300h is at its most efficient, even if it lacks the electric range to rival a plug-in hybrid. Realistically, you're only going to get about 100 metres or so before the petrol engine cuts in. That said, because it cuts in and out when stationary or moving at slower speed, you still manage to get decent fuel economy around town. We've been getting around 43 miles per gallon, and for a car that has 220 horsepower, that's pretty good. The only time you really notice that figure dramatically falling is when you come out onto the faster country roads and the engines flare as you need to use that petrol motor more. Admittedly, it's not as problematic as in Lexus's bigger and heavier SUVs, but it still doesn't scream fun. Nor, sadly, does the handling, the RC simply being too heavy to really feel engaging. Sure, the weight of the steering and the pedals is reassuring, and there's lots of grip, but it just doesn't feel as light on its feet as a BMW 4 Series. With the RC, you need to think unhurried refinement and well-cushioned ride rather than seat-of-the-pants thrills, which will suit a lot of people. And of course, there's Lexus' first-rate reputation for reliability. Safety credentials are also strong, with all models getting 8 airbags, although you'll need to go for top-spec Premier trim if you want things such as active cruise control and blind spot monitors. If you want adaptive suspension, it means going for the F Sport, but actually our advice is stick with the base level luxury because it more than lives up to that promise. If you value a great interior, more comfortable ride and low running costs over a sportier drive, then the 300h is well worth considering. Before you run away for another tea or coffee, don't forget to subscribe to the Telegraph Cars YouTube channel by clicking here, and to read in-depth reviews of other new cars on the market, visit the Telegraph Cars website by clicking here.